Well, hello. I don't want to say hello Google because my phone is a Google Pixel. Maybe I get bonus points for that. And then when you say hello Google, things happen on that phone. Anyway, my name is Kelly Nash. I am over 18. I'm in fact 51 years old. I look a little bit younger than that. At least I'm told. I was born June 14th, 1967, up in Hartford. And do I have reliable transportation to and from Moncks Corner? Yes, I do, 5 days a week over a 2 weeks period. As far as my availability goes, the biggest challenge of that, you listed Monday through Friday, 9 till 5. I do a morning radio show here at WCOS in Columbia, and so I am on the air till 9. And then using Google Maps, another product placement, I see that it's about an hour and a half to get to you guys from where I work in Columbia. So I guess, there are days, if I schedule it right, I can get out at like 8:30. I could even maybe sometimes roll out of here at 8 o'clock in the morning. But that would be not every day, 8 o'clock. I could do it maybe 2 or 3 times. The rest of the time, I would assume I'd be rolling out of here at about 9:30. So, the earliest I could be to you on those days would be about 11 o'clock. And I don't have a problem staying a little later. If there's somebody if you needed me to stay later or whatever, I can do all that. But that's the biggest challenge that I have with this. Why does this role interest me? You're Google. It's like playing for the Yankees. Who wouldn't want this? I don't really know a whole lot about the role. I saw a brief email on it, which invited me. I saw that last night. And so, yes, when Google calls, everybody's excited. Walking you through my resume, what am I most proud of on my resume? Well, I've been in radio almost my entire adult life. Start off like everybody else, dishwasher and mowing lawns and those types of things. But in my senior year of high school, I ended up in an intern position at a radio station in Hartford. And that turned into a paid position on their research department, which then led to some part-time air work. I continued with that for the next year and a half or whatever. As one of those guys left Hartford, he moved to Cleveland. And then one day in the spring of '87, he called me and said he was getting moved to the morning show, and asked, he said, I know there's no way you can be a part of this. And I said, yes, I can. And he said, so you want to be the producer? I said, yes. And he said, well, but you don't know anything about the job. You don't know, the pay. I said, it doesn't matter what you pay me. I just want to get my foot in the door full time in radio. And so I said, listen, and he said, well, you got the other things. You got to be here in like, a week. And I said, well, Kurt, here's the good news. I am going to my college right now. I am going to unenroll. I am dropping out of college. I am going to pack everything I own into my Honda Civic. And I don't know how long it's going to take to get to Cleveland because they haven't invented Google Maps yet. But I'm going to drive nonstop till I get to Cleveland, Ohio, and I will be there tomorrow, and I will be able to start the next day. So there was the awkward phone conversation with my mother where I had to call her collect from the Pennsylvania Turnpike and say, Mom, I just quit college and I'm moving to Cleveland to be a DJ. And she freaked. But I'm rather proud of that moment because, somebody was telling me you can't climb a mountain with one foot on the ground. You have to abandon, what is that old saying? Burn the ships. There's no return. And there was no coming back for me. I was going to either make it as a radio personality or I was going to die trying, and to paraphrase 50 Cent. Anyway, walking you through my resume, the continuation of it, I just continued in radio. I bounced around, saw a lot of the Northeast, worked Long Island for a number of years, made it to New York City for a brief stop at Z100, saw a lot of the Northeast. And then in the 99, I was working as a program director in New Haven, Connecticut, and a opportunity to become the Mid-Atlantic promotions executive for Universal Records was presented, and so I decided to leave radio and become a promotion guy and go to radio stations and try to get our music on the radio. And that was the first time I'd ever been south of the Mason-Dixon line other than flying to Dallas, Texas once, and flying to Disney World, I think once, maybe twice previously. But I had never been south of D.C. really, ever. So my first trip here, I actually sent my mother a postcard from your neck of the woods. I was in Charleston and just loved it. I couldn't believe how beautiful it was. And so I sent her a postcard that said, Mom, one day I am going to live in this town. And a few years later, in 2004, Universal was offering me a buyout, and I took it. And I moved to beautiful Charleston. First, I lived over by the Citadel, and then moved out to Daniel Island. And then, as fate would have it, I had an opportunity to come to Columbia, and I've been in Columbia since almost end of 05, beginning of 06. So it's I've been in radio the whole time, except for those 4 years. I love it. Let's see. Do you have any experience performing in front of an audience? Yes, as a radio personality, we also get the opportunity to go on stage and introduce massive concerts sometimes. The most recent was Chris Stapleton. Got to introduce him here at the Colonial Life Arena in front of, 16,000, 18,000 people. But also, obviously we do things in a lot smaller venues as well. So it could be 50 people, 100 people, whatever. So yes, I'm very often in front of a live audience. Do you have any experience performing on camera? Yes, one of the things that I've been doing for the last few years, in addition to radio, is I've started hosting a segment for the CBS affiliate here in Columbia, WLTX. It's called Spotlight, and it's supposed to look like it's part of the news. It airs during the noon newscast at the very end of the noon newscast, and that's why I'm wearing my suit today. And I'm going to be putting my tie on in a little bit because I'll be doing another Spotlight today. And that's all done, though, as it's all pre-scripted. So I know that one of the next question is the teleprompter question. Have you ever read from a teleprompter? Yes, I do that probably once a week. So I don't know how many times I've read from a teleprompter, but it's rather common. And other platforms like YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. It's just, silliness. It's just goofiness that I have on there. It's not like I'm not getting paid for it. I just put up some goofy stuff, song parodies and stuff like that. Tell us about your previous work volunteer experience, and what was a challenge that you had to overcome. Well, talking about the thing you're most proud of, I think the thing I'm probably most proud of is my work with the Autism Society and the work I've done with my son. The reason I got involved with the Autism Society was because my son Jordan is autistic and has had not just autistic but a lot of learning disabilities. So I didn't get custody of him until he was 18. He's about to turn 26, and I'm very pleased to announce that last Thursday, Jordan was able to move out and rent his own place. So I'm very proud of him, proud of myself for just keeping with it. And I was a single parent for most of that. I've been married now for about 2 years, not quite 2 years, but and she's been an angel as well. But just working with him and not only him, and seeing the growth and the effect that the things that I was doing with him had, but also seeing the work that the Autism Society was doing with hundreds of families that I got to see, and I'm guessing thousands throughout the state, where they were able to benefit because of the work that we were doing with the Autism Society. And so I've been on the board there. I was on the board until December 31st when I finally resigned after 6 or 7 years on the board, and just felt like there was people who probably needed an opportunity to be on the board, and I was hogging it all up. But I'm going to continue to do some volunteer work with them. Let's see. Is there anything else? I don't know. I've been, just so you know, I've been holding up the phone in my NutriBullet trying to put it in a position so that you could almost look like I'm on camera. And the teleprompter was my computer. So that's kind of where I've been. There's my wife. Isn't she beautiful? Yes, I'm a very lucky man. And these are some of my awards from when I worked at Universal Records. Anyway, my name's Kelly Nash, and I hope to hear from you soon.